Hey guys, it's Practical Psychology, and I'm super pumped to introduce the collaborator of this video. And before I do that, I want to introduce what this video topic is about. Now this video is going to be about how to be more charismatic. We're going to give you 6 solid tips on what you can do to increase your charisma. Without further ado, here is Alpha M.
Gentlemen, great to see you. Practical Psychology, thank you so much for having me on your incredible channel to talk about something I'm incredibly excited and passionate about, which is charisma. The reason charisma is so exciting to me personally is because I know that it's something that can be learned. Most people, including myself, were not born charismatic. Think of it like any skill. The more you practice, the better at it you're going to get. Tip number 1 is make other people feel better about themselves. One of the main reasons why charismatic people are so magnetic is because of the way they make you feel about yourself. One way that you can actually help other people feel great about themselves is by giving them compliments. What happens when you get a compliment? Exactly, you feel great about yourself. You also view the person that gave that compliment to you more favorably.
So tip number 2 is to be curious. One of the best ways to be charismatic is by directing the attention from yourself to someone else. Now this is pretty cool because if you're a bit shy or nervous around a whole bunch of people, this can help by taking the tension away from you. The trick here is because people are usually egocentric, even from a child, they love to talk about themselves, what they've done, what they are going to do. And if you can get them to keep talking about themselves in a manner that doesn't seem like an interview, you will intrigue them. One of the best tricks I've found is before asking someone a question, make a statement. Here's an example. Hey, how was your trip? It was awesome. We went skydiving, scuba diving, and even rock climbing. That's interesting. I've been scuba diving and rock climbing before on a vacation when I was little, but never skydiving. Can you tell me what the best part was, or any tips if I ever go? See, right here. You're saying something about yourself, how it relates to their story, and then psychologically rewarding them to talk about their story again. In one of my favorite books, How to Win Friends and Influence People, the author tells a similar story about how he was at a party, and at the end of the party, one of his friends says that he was super intriguing and fun to be around, much more than any other person at the party. And the author wanted to know why. So he analyzed everything he did that evening, and he came to the conclusion of 3 things. He asked his friend more questions than anyone else. He listened to what the person had to say, not only with his ears, but also his body, and he prompted him to continue talking. So basically, just be genuinely curious about another person.
The third tip to being viewed as more charismatic is learning to be an active listener. Listening is a lot more than just hearing what somebody else is saying. You listen with your body, eye contact, body language. Instead of closed, open up, stand a little bit closer. See, did you see what I just did there? Exactly. Active listening. I let the person that was speaking know that I am indeed not only hearing, I'm engaged in what they're saying.
The 4th tip is to be warm but also powerful. Now this might seem like an oxymoron because when you think of a character trait of warmth, you might think of your loving grandmother or a small young child. And when you think of someone who is powerful, you think of large men like Tony Robbins, Vladimir Putin, or even this guy. But according to the research in the book Compelling People, charisma can be created through a personality combination of warmth and power, or also humility and respect. The research found that many influential people throughout history have a combination of these 2 qualities, and if they only had one quality, they didn't last very long. Now, one thing to note here is that you can do actions to portray these characteristic traits, but ultimately this tip comes down to how other people perceive you. So I'm going to be giving 3 quick tips on how you can be perceived as both warm and powerful. So warmth. If you're older, you automatically get this point. On average, people over the age of 65 are perceived as warmer, less of a threat, and more genuine. Number 2, if you have a wide smile, you may be approached more often, which over many years can increase your communication skills and thus warmth. Tip number 3 is that if you close the distance between you and a group of people, or even a single person, you signal that you feel safe with them, which is also perceived as warmth. Now on to power. One of the simplest ways you can be seen as more powerful is by increasing your total muscle mass. Now the other side of that is, I have seen people who have never touched a weight in their life but can cultivate a crowd just by their body language. Keep your chin up, shoulders back, and try to have a confident stride. And the last tip on power is avoid touching your face or using filler words like or because this will lower someone's trust with you on a psychological level.
The fifth tip to being viewed as more charismatic is being a positive and optimistic person, both in what you're saying and your opinions. Everyone's been around or known that negative person, right? That's always negative and putting other people down. How much do you want to be around them? Exactly, like zero. And on the flip side, we all know people that are super optimistic. People that think, hey, it's going to be okay. We can do this. Things are incredible and you're amazing. These people we view as more charismatic.
My third and last tip is going to be about confidence. So naturally, if you're on the path to becoming a more charismatic person, you'll know the importance of confidence, and especially self-esteem. One of the things about being around people over a long period of time is that you will eventually get smoked out. Now this means that if you are not genuine, not authentic, if you're putting on a mask of charisma, people will find out. This is probably why Alpha has done so well on YouTube and in all of his business projects. I've seen some videos of him that really hit home on sensitive and personal topics. And that genuine and honest characteristic trait of his is something that over time will get smoked out and people will see the real person behind the charismatic personality. So it's best if the charisma is real and not just on a surface level. So my tip at the core is to be confident in who you are and to have great self-esteem. Now, most of the time, depending on how you grew up, your friends, your parents, this doesn't always come naturally, so you'll have to work on it. I can guarantee you, though, if you focus on it and work on it, you will get better. Your confidence will grow, you start hanging around the right people, your self-esteem will grow, and over time, it can solidify.